All right, so now I want to continue drawing on this, not so much for inner detail, but a little bit more about how to create effective outlining. You're fine. All right, so I'm going to make a hand. So hands, if you saw that one tutorial that I did, I guess on Saturday, with the little hand in the flame, this is another way of doing a hand here. So I'll start with a rounded rectangle. And if I press the letter I key, that gives me the eyedropper, and then I can just sample a color right off of the page, or the palette, the artwork, sorry. And again, I'll use the same rounded rectangle tool. Try to get these similar thickness. Now I probably should try that again here. And what I'm going to do differently is I'm going to scale. This is my palm of my hand here because I have pretty square palms. Right there. And then, yeah, when you start looking at your palms, it kind of gives you a whole new perspective on your world. All right? So then I'm going to create the fingers too. So I've created the second finger by doing Shift, Option, Drag. And now I'm going to do Command D, which is duplicate again, and Command D, which is duplicate again. And now I have a fork. Okay? So I want my index finger to be shorter, and then I want my ring and pinky finger to be shorter still. So now I have more similar to a hand form. And I think I'll just drag the edges of these out a little bit, maybe make it a little squattier so. And just for the sake of ease, I'm going to just select all these, and again, I'm going to merge them into one shape. So I'm kind of thinking of this shape here. Create another rounded rectangle, and I'll rotate that into position kind of like so, and that's the bottom part of my thumb. And then again here I'll make the digits using Option, Shift, and Drag. Okay. Option, click, Shift, Drag. Okay, that's better. And now this guy, I'm going to just rotate this one in a little, like so. And I have sausage fingers. Little sausage situation going on here. So I'm going to press the Z key to get zoom. And now I'm dragging this up a bit to zoom up a bit. Selecting these two. And I'm just going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to position these. And maybe this doesn't need to be rotated quite so much. All right, fair enough. Hand-like. So I'll click and drag around this whole situation and merge this into one shape. And now I do have like a couple extra points here that I might want to smooth. Probably best to just handle those with the delete anchor point tool. Delete that anchor point and delete that anchor point, and that's going to be good enough for now. All right, so I'm going to position this so it's just kind of giving this little hand signal. And I might, given more time, use this hand and cut it up into different pieces to create shading similarly to what I did with the face. But really what I want to focus on is the outlining now. Okay, so I'm going to select the hand and the main oval for the face, and I'm going to copy them. Now they are copied. They are copied. I just did Command C, or you could have done Edit Copy. And if I come over to the Layers panel now, and I'll increase the size of my panel, let's make it a little larger, you can see all the different parts of the face and hand as I have them so far. And I'm going to add a new layer and drop it underneath the previous layer, which has multiple objects on it. And now what I'm going to do instead of pasting is I'm going to do paste by choosing Edit, Paste, in back. And it pasted it in back of the original elements, but what it left right here, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a little blue dot here. And that blue dot represents anything that is currently selected on that layer. So if I move this blue dot down, it's now those shapes that I copied on the new layer. Can you kind of see the little icon here? Maybe I should make the panel options a little bit bigger. Thank you, Laura. That's cool. All right, so I'm going to, instead here, I'll make these 30 pixels, so that didn't help at all. So I'll do that one more time. I'll go Panel Options, and I'll make these really bigger. I'll make them 100 pixels. So let's see if I can see nice big thumbnails. Right, so I've got all these pieces on the top or in the top layer. I kind of think of layers more like folders, and in the bottom layer I have this. And so what's selected is the things in the bottom layer, and they are different colors from each other. If I make them the same color, and you can see over here on the color picker palette part that they are different colors because there's a question mark here, but if let's just say I make them black. No, let's just say I make them white. Initially, they were different colors. There was a question mark. Now they're white, so they're both white. And I also want to stroke these shapes with white. Now, it's not so helpful here in the preview because the background is white and the artwork is white. So maybe not the best decision to make that white. So I'll make this black instead. All right, so now the outline and the shapes are black. Up here in the stroke panel, I'll increase the thickness on that. Okay. And then I'll copy again. Command C. And then I'll do Edit, Paste in back again. Paste in back. So now I have a whole other chunk of shapes back there that you can't see because they're aligned exactly with the shapes that are in front of them. But this time I am going to turn this white. And you're not going to be able to tell that anything's happening for a moment here. And I feel like I clicked away and that was a bad thing. So I need to see what's going on here. I think I just kind of messed up, which is helpful. Not really. Okay, so I have these two shapes and I have this. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to delete that. These little things here, these circles on the right side, are actually a way of selecting items without actually clicking on them. And if I hold the Shift key down, those are both selected. So now I have those shapes selected again, and I'm going to try it again. Command C, which is copy, and then Command B, which is paste in back. There we go. And now I'm going to change these to white. White, really white. And this is white, and I'm going to increase the thickness. The previous thickness was 5. I'm going to make this 10. I know you can't see anything happening. However, it's still selected, and I'm going to copy it again. And I'm going to paste in back again. And then I'm going to change the colors again. Back to black again. Black and black. And now when I increase the thickness of the stroke, you can see I have multiple lines. The furthest out line generally wants to be the fattest. You see how different that looks as I'm making the inner lines are thinner? And like, doesn't it look like just so much better as it starts to get thicker? It feels like more of a solid element, and it's holding together. So it's helpful to see that you can, and this is kind of the main takeaway, is that you can copy the main background shapes, paste them behind. You can always select them by coming over to these little circles, holding the Shift key down to select both of these. And I could change the color. I generally do like to use the same color for the fill and the stroke when I'm doing outlining. It just seems to be cleaner when it prints. So it's now a purple color that you can hardly tell is a different color on the drawing, but you can see it looks kind of pink up here, pinky purple on the projector. And I'll change it again, just so you can see distinctly what's going on with this color. Let's be a little more bold here, and I'll put red on there. All right, so the thins and the thicks. So if I really want that outline and to hold everything together, I need it to be the thickest outline. The red outline here is a little thicker than the black outline. This black outline is the first set of outlines that I made, and that is the 5-point set of outlines, and now it's 4, and now it's 3, and I click away. So the inner line is 3, and on top of that is a line of the red, which is 11, and on top of that is a line which is 26. And that's kind of how you get that effect of the piece sort of holding more together. The outer line does not come inside here at all. If I wanted to, I could select this hand shape. And considering that this was a 3, right? This was a 3. I could apply the 3 black stroke to the top level of the hand. Really this time. I really want it to be black. Can you be black now? Thank you. And I'll make that 3. And it looks contiguous here because it's all on top. If I make it thinner, still looks okay. And if I make it a little thinner, it might look a little odd, like this outline part from this intersection to the left is thicker than from this intersection to the right. So it's 1, now it's 2. That looks pretty good. You do want to zoom in on these things and really look at what you think. Sometimes what you think something looks like and what it really looks like. I find, as much as I don't like to waste paper, it is helpful to print things out. But that's my explanation about how to create staggered lines or multiple stacked lines that will give you a precise and an encased effect. This whole concept of paste in front and paste behind is really a helpful one, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward.